You gonna feel all this we got to do? Look, hey Tank, we gonna go 35 for 12.
Many years ago, legendary champion Marvin Hagler remarked that it's hard to get up and do road work at 5 a.m. when you're sleeping in silk pajamas. In other words, when you're hungry, when you're chasing something, the grind comes naturally. But once you're comfortable, that fire can fade.
The newly released training camp footage of Gervonta "Tank" Davis on day 4, shared by Prime Video, gave fans exactly what they were hoping for. The video didn't just capture a boxer inside the gym, it showed an athlete fueled by more passion, intensity, and hunger than the version who fought in his first bout against Lamont Roach.
10, 9, 8, 7, power, 6, 5, power, 4, power, 3, 2, one more. Good, under here, roll under the bed. Good job.
That lawnmower, that's that.
This isn't just another fight or just another title defense. This is the return of Gervonta "Tank" Davis, he declared at the beginning of the video. One of the most noticeable changes in Tank's routine is how early he now starts. His day with a morning jog and ends it with another in the evening. Between those runs, his schedule is packed with meticulously planned meals, tailored to provide his body with the exact nutrients it needs to stay sharp and strong.
For a very, very big moment. What is your normal day-to-day like at this time of a camp?
I'm also a night person, but I might go to sleep probably around like 3 to 4. Probably wake up probably like 11, get my run in, and then eat, probably lay back down, and then wake up probably like 6 or 7 and get my night workout in.
Damn, so you're doing 2-a-days at this point, running in the...
Speaking of strength, for the first time in a while, Tank has become deeply intentional about building muscle to enhance both his power and stamina. As the reigning WBA lightweight champion, he found himself at a loss during his last fight when he realized his punches didn't land as effectively on Lamont Roach. This time, he's focused on building more explosive strength. Tank is convinced that in order to outperform Roach, he must do everything at a higher level.
Beastmode, let's go.
I know I can beat him. I've done it before. It's not about him, it's about me. I just have to improve across the board, Tank stated confidently. That mindset is exactly why his current training regime has been revamped to optimize every aspect of his performance. One major shift is his sparring format. He now engages in 15-round sparring sessions with each partner, with every round lasting a full 5 minutes.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Take deep breath when you walk. Take deep breath. Right. Take deep breath.
Yeah. Oh, stop closing up. Gotta let it go. Keep turning. Keep turning. Step around. Keep turning.
The goal behind this intense sparring structure is to boost his endurance and overall athleticism. Gervonta "Tank" Davis has also committed more time to refining his footwork, aiming for smoother movement inside the ring, a key necessity against Lamont Roach, who's known for staying in the pocket and picking his shots with precision. In addition, Davis dedicates significant time to shadow boxing, working on the mitts, and punishing the heavy bag, all to sharpen his technique and explosiveness.
What your balance felt like?
Interestingly, the most noticeable and possibly most impactful change in Tank's training is the return of his head trainer, Calvin Ford, a move that could benefit him more than anything else in his current camp.
Ill will isn't enough. Thus, the heightened intensity in camp.
Turn it up. Turn it up. Oh, good rim. Good rim. I like the way y'all jump right back in.
Sadly, Calvin Ford was absent from Gervonta Davis's corner for the first time in his bout against Lamont Roach. and it's likely no coincidence that Davis ended up losing that match. However, Davis quickly assured fans that nothing was wrong. "I've got Calvin back in the gym now. He just had to return to make sure everything got better. Coach Barry is here too, everyone's here, and the mission remains the same," he said, while Tank expected to have Ford by his side. On March 1st, the veteran coach had his own reasons for not being in Davis's corner for that particular fight. For years, fans had grown familiar with the sight of Calvin Ford and Kenny Ellis standing behind Tank, much like the iconic duos of Mike Tyson and Cus D'Amato, Canelo and Eddie Reynoso, or even Manny Pacquiao and Freddie Roach. That trio of Gervonta Davis, Calvin Ford, and Kenny Ellis had become symbolic for fans. So when Barry Hunter appeared in Davis's corner instead, it wasn't exactly the visual the audience was used to. Naturally, it raised questions about what may have caused the shift. Speaking with Fight Hub TV, Ford offered insight. Davis was headlining his second PBC Amazon Prime Video PPV event at Barclays Center, which also featured 2 light welterweight title fights. Like many, Ford was looking forward to watching how Davis's training translated into the ring. With Tank hailing from Baltimore and Roach from DC, Ford recalled how often they used to spar in the gym. He had respect for Roach's work ethic and believed this matchup was a great opportunity. "Maybe people are misreading the situation. We ain't changing anything," he clarified. He'd simply taken a step back, though the training structure had stayed intact. The reporter clarified there was no implication of a split between Ford and Davis, only curiosity about whether time apart had strengthened their bond, the way families often appreciate each other more after some space. "Nah, he came to check on me. Said, 'Slow down, I was worried about you.' Because boom, he knows I spend time with my amateurs. Both of y'all know I do. That's my peace," Ford responded. Even though he wasn't hands-on in the camp, just knowing where Tank was and that he was training gave Ford peace of mind. The time apart, he admitted, helped them value their connection more. When he returned to the gym, he could tell Tank had missed him, just like he'd missed Davis. It's unclear if this dynamic played a role in the outcome of the fight, but it may have contributed to why things didn't feel the same. Barry. Hunter echoed a similar reassurance. "Calvin will be there, Coach Barry will be there, Coach Boogie will be there, and Kenny will be there too," he said in an interview. While Ford and Ellis wouldn't be directly in Tank's corner, their presence around the camp suggested there was no serious issue. Hunter reminded everyone this wasn't the first time Tank's corner had seen changes. He had been part of Tank's team since his amateur days and early pro career. He wasn't a new face. Like Ford, he pointed out how the internet tends to spread misinformation and how people make assumptions without knowing the facts. He emphasized that Tank is family. In the end, it seemed like a temporary adjustment rather than a long-term shift.
We did how many rounds? We probably did at least like 8 straight.
Yeah, but you in the bag for about 8 too.
Yeah.
That's good. You're not in bad shape.
Thank God, fill up my
Of
mind.
course.
It was the kind of shock no one saw coming. On March 1st, when Gervonta Davis stepped into the ring to face Lamont Roach Jr., there was hardly anyone who hadn't predicted yet another statement win for the Baltimore native. But by the time the final bell rang, fans were left stunned and disillusioned. Leaving aside the post-fight controversy, what troubled most viewers was the performance itself. What many believed they saw, or at least felt, was a distracted and unusually passive version of Tank. And if you've seen David Benavidez' latest interview on Pound for Pound, you might want to add another word to describe him that night: burned out.
And Lamont Roach. Can you tell us a little bit about the history between them two?
Oh man, they've been knowing each other from the amateurs, silver gloves, everything. They grew up actually together, you know. Roach and him back and forth battles and whatnot. It's gonna be a pretty interesting fight, you know what I'm saying? Because Roach he come to fight, and I think it's a great fight.
The light heavyweight champion had appeared on the increasingly popular show hosted by former UFC champions Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo. During the episode, the trio discussed a wide range of topics, from Benavidez' last bout against David Morrell to the Canelo Alvarez quandary, but it was the March 1st fight involving Gervonta Davis that drew the most intense focus. For Benavidez, it wasn't just about the controversy, whether it was Tank taking a knee without penalty or the disputed decision. It was the way Davis fought that concerned him most. What I didn't like about Tank is that he was gassing up Lamont Roach way too much, giving him far too much respect, Benavidez noted, implying that Tank's usual killer instinct was missing.
By talking all that stuff about, why Roach? Because he signed and took the fight, you know what I'm saying? And it's good for the community.
Now, do you feel like there's unfair criticism because of Lamont Roach not being as known of a fighter?
To Kamaru Usman, Davis may have looked somewhat distracted, but to Henry Cejudo, it raised the possibility that Gervonta Davis could be nearing the end of his prime. Still, Usman maintained he was largely satisfied with the match's outcome. A majority draw. In the fight itself, he looked distracted, and we all know what Tank is capable of. There were flashes where he brought the real Tank out, but he just didn't seem fully locked in, Usman observed. That observation pushed Cejudo to draw a legacy comparison. He speculated that Davis might be emulating the later career strategy of his former mentor, Floyd Mayweather. Stay safe, protect your record, and avoid unnecessary risks.
In the back, he wasn't buzzed. There was, I don't know what round it was, and he fell in and pulled out, and Lamont Roach countered with, I believe it was a right hand, right? When he came back to the corner, he said, he caught me one time. And definitely he felt that shot. But for the most part, other than that, he thought that he could see most of the punches coming. That was the only punch that got his attention. Yes.
David Benavidez observed that Gervonta Davis seems to have a love-hate relationship with the sport and struggles to manage the pressure that comes with it. He's like, what if I lose? There's a possibility he's just burnt. Out, Benavidez added. He explained, a lot of us have been boxing for 26 years. Referring to Tank, he continued, I don't know how long he's been boxing exactly, but the thing is, it's different for fighters who've been deep in the amateur game. Gervonta Davis started boxing at the extremely young age of 5 and has walked a long, grinding road since then. That might explain the recent lack of spark or signs of emotional fatigue showing up in his performances today.
I'm getting back at the gym in like a week. I'm gonna take a good, probably like couple of days off, but I gotta get back in the gym. Ball ahead, pass it, man.
Yep. Hey, man, Juan here from High 97. Lamont definitely learned stuff about you in this time, in this bout right here. What have you learned in this fight from Lamont that you could take forward in the next fight?
I could have stopped him.
Given the talk about his possible retirement and the wealth he's already earned, it's possible that the hunger to fight is fading. What Benavidez said may be subjective and open to interpretation, but it's hard to completely dismiss the points he raised. A relevant example to consider is that of Anthony Joshua. Interestingly, unlike Benavidez or Davis, Joshua came into the sport much later, starting at the age of 18. He climbed the amateur ranks rapidly, peaking at the London Olympics with a gold medal, which might explain why his drive still seems intact, having not burned out early like those who started young.
It's me. Definitely my fault.
Hey Tank, congratulations.
Thank you.
So at the end you talked about how the audience has like a love-hate relationship. Sometimes they love you, sometimes they don't. And obviously they were reacting during the fight. Did that affect your performance or confidence at all?
No, I wasn't really paying attention to the crowd. You know what I mean? I was more so.
Fans will now have to wait for the rematch on August 16th to see whether Benavidez's assessment holds true, or if the events of March 1st were merely an off night for Davis. In the meantime, sports journalist Chris Mannix revealed that he discussed the Davis-Roach fight with 3 senior boxing referees. Reportedly, all 3 unanimously agreed that the moment when Davis took a knee should have been ruled a knockdown. More surprisingly, one of them stated that Tank should have been disqualified for allowing a quick face wipe from his corner during the round.
If that was your first time watching Tank, you're probably like, okay, yeah, sort of, I get it. But it kind of speaks to his demeanor going into the fight. Like it just felt a little bit underwhelming. And then we get to the 9th round, and then it's complete madness, because in the 9th round, you probably have heard by now, the fight is moving along, and it is important to note that Lamont Roach lands a jab or two, and where we want to start the clock.
The moment that cornerman touched Tank, the referee should have immediately disqualified him, said one boxing insider in a scathing critique. He also raised concerns about referee Steve Willis's overall handling of the fight. According to boxing analyst Rick Glazer, had the knockdown been correctly counted, Lamont Roach Jr. should have either won the fight by disqualification in round 9 or taken the match by majority decision. Roach should have won that fight either by DQ in round 9 or by majority decision if the knockdown had been properly ruled, Glazer concluded in his pointed rebuke.
Cards, judge at the ringside. Eric Marlinski scores it on 115 to 113 in favor of Gervonta Davis. Judges Steve Weisfeld and Glenn Feldman both score the bout 114 to 114, even a draw. The decision is a majority draw.
The ninth round was kind of a microcosm of Gervonta Davis's life in some ways, said Keith Idec on the Ariel Helwani show. He emphasized what he believes is a recurring theme in Davis's career, a tendency to bend the rules or act outside the norm without facing meaningful consequences. Idec argued that Davis often takes liberties inside the ring, citing his unsanctioned timeout during round 9 of the Roach fight, despite boxing not allowing such breaks, and yet somehow he got away with it. He compared this to a previous moment during the Hector Luis Garcia fight when Davis was distracted by a ringside altercation and seemingly took another unofficial break. Gervonta Davis does what he wants, Idec noted, and more often than not, he avoids the repercussions. He also recalled an earlier incident where Davis showed up several hours late to a press conference, again without facing any significant fallout. Now, the latest reports suggest that the March 1st bout is officially under review, and the outcome may even be overturned.
Up to, debate, but he certainly lands a punch. And then seconds later, seconds after that punch lands, that jab lands, all of a sudden Tank Davis takes a knee. He quickly takes a knee, and there it is right there. 9th round, 217, he is taking a knee, and he's looking to his corner. And he also, ever so briefly, it appears as though he's almost trying to call time.